Okay, whoops, we got the wrong one there. Okay, here we go. And welcome to This Week on Martha's Vineyard. It's typical. That's where Emmalyn Reid should be sitting right now. And she couldn't make it tonight, so I guess I'm going to have to fill in. It's been one of those weeks. I want to welcome Colin Young. Colin Young, are you there right now? There he is. How you doing, Colin?
I'm doing all right.
How's your week been going on?
Well, this is typical of my week.
You have no idea. It's been typical of our week, too. Very much so. It's been one crazy incident after another, but this is live broadcasting, so there you go. Okay. So first of all, I want to say, of course, I love your island. I'm going to call it your island because you're like the king of Martha's Vineyard. That's the way I look at it. Right. Well, I mean, ever since I've known you, I mean, the newspaper, and every time I go down there, it's like everyone's yelling, Colin, and everywhere we go, Colin. And so they see you across the street, and so it's pretty cool. I like that.
Usually that Colin, you owe me money, or Colin.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. So what was Labor Day weekend like on the island this past weekend?
Labor Day weekend was very busy, but it was it's a different kind of busy. The busy is at the beach and hiking and doing all those different kind of outdoor activities. It's not as the restaurants are still busy, but I would say that they're not as packed as they were on a normal year.
So, okay, so I was going to say that. What was it like versus other years?
A lot of bikes, and I mean, a lot of people on the bike paths. You could double the size of the bike paths and still have a hard time, you know.
Okay, and our special guest tonight is Anne. Anne is from the Edgartown Theater. We're going to get to her in just a second. So the prospects for a good fall. I know the Cape. Yeah, there's Anne right there. We're going to get to her in just a few seconds.
Okay.
We do this is a little banter first, then we go to commercial, and then we come back with Anne. So we're going to set Anne up with a nice little montage too after we go to commercial. So real quickly, the Cape now is trying to create what they call the second summer, and have people come down to still experience the Cape with the fact that still a lot of the schools are still not in session yet, and some of the ones that are in session are still doing remote learning, so the kids are still home, and they said, okay, the weather's still good, come on down and experience the second summer. I saw this, I think it was on WCVB, Channel 5, and I know that I think the Boston Globe wrote an article, I think, about it too. So is the Martha's Vineyard kind of planning the same thing or trying to do the same thing, or are they going to feed off of the Cape, or how does that going to work out? Have you heard anything?
Well, I think we matriculate some of the people that come to the vineyard come from Cape Cod, that are visiting Cape Cod. Those boats that arrive from Hyannis and Falmouth are full of people coming for the day to visit that are staying on Cape Cod. But here, where the big difference is that I've heard a figure of 6,000 people have stayed that normally would depart after this weekend, that are here for the season, the seasonal people. And so that, I think, is going to, I think whether we want it or not, we're going to have a second summer.
Well, that's cool. That's definitely cool. And
could use it.
And you haven't actually you haven't published the paper this summer yet, right? Or you haven't?
I published one issue.
Oh, you did. Okay, all right. You did publish one issue.
Some menus out there. And
when did you publish that? Just curious.
That was in the beginning, like in
June,
early July.
Oh, July. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because really things didn't start kicking up in there until about the end of June, July 4th weekend, right? Give or take.
Yeah, the end of June, we still didn't know whether we were going to be able to open.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
It was very difficult to make any kind of decisions at that point. And as far as publishing goes, by the time they were open and people were filling in, coming, it was too late to go out and try to put something together. When we had, I think, just about everybody in publishing has had the same kind of
interesting. So okay,
situation.
we're going to take a quick little break then, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Anne and find out what's going on her situation, being involved with the Edgartown Movie Theater. So we'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned, folks. There is no better place to take in the sweeping views of Edgartown Harbor while enjoying fresh local seafood and cold drinks than the Seafood Shanty on Dock Street. With views from, well, any seat in the restaurant, everyone gets a water view. Whether resting in the air-conditioned dining room on the first floor or in the open air upstairs on the island's largest deck, this is the place where you realize you have everything you came to Martha's Vineyard for. The Seafood Shanty is where the seafood and the view of the sea meet. Open daily for lunch and dinner and nightlife entertainment.
Located in the Edgartown Triangle, Trader Fred's is a discount haven for locals and tourists. From fishing bait to boogie boards to bikinis, Fred's has what you need. If you didn't find what you wanted, then you must have missed it.
A blistering day on the island can quickly turn into a cool retreat at sea with MV Ocean Sports' dynamic array of water sport activities. From parasailing high above the Vineyard Sound to skimming across its glassy surface on your very own jet ski, MV Ocean Sports has everything fun for everyone. MV Ocean Sports focuses on fun activities the whole family can participate in, including water skiing, wakeboarding, kneeboarding, and tubing. Open daily with sunset specials. Visit mvoceansports.com for more information.
Step back in time. The Edgartown Diner at 65 Main Street offers classic, delicious comfort food at affordable prices. Serving breakfast all day, lunch, and dinner. Discover why everyone loves the Edgartown Diner.
Okay, we're back, and Anne's right there, and we're going to get to Anne in just a second, because what I wanted to do was play a clip from This Week on Martha's Vineyard that we recorded last summer. Obviously, you had to realize it was last summer, and it'll give us a little background on the Edgartown Theater and Anne, and then we'll be right back with Anne, so we'll be right back.
Located in the heart of Edgartown on Main Street, the theater is open year-round and features first-run films, from the latest 3D action films with Dolby Sound to fantastic animated features that the whole family can enjoy. One more thing, don't forget to order some freshly made popcorn, which does not come from a bag, like most other cinemas. We're here at the Edgartown Cinemas, and I have Anne, the general manager, here with me. And give me a little bit of background on the theater. How long have you guys been around?
This theater has been here for 20 years. It replaced the Town Hall Theater, which was across the street above the Town Hall.
With the summer months here, what movies are coming out for the summer?
We will have Toy Story 4. We'll have the live action version of Lion King. That'll be here. And then all summer long we show Jaws.
And behind us, the concession, of course, a bunch of great movie treats, and the popcorn. You were telling me this is made every day.
It's made every day, every show. So it's always fresh, and it always smells like fresh popcorn in here. It's just divine.
It smells delicious. I think we need to grab this and head into the theater.
I think you do. Please enjoy.
Okay, we are back with Anne. Anne, welcome to This Week on Martha's
Thank
Vineyard.
you.
Now, as we saw, that was from last year, and then you were just mentioning a little while ago before we started the broadcast that popcorn is no longer allowed, or what was that?
Not at the opening of Phase 3, Part 1, or
What's
whatever
wrong
it
with
is.
popcorn? I'm just curious.
I think it's because you have to take your mask off in the theater to eat it.
Oh, okay. So there's no eating at all in the theater, or what's the deal
No.
with that? See, I haven't been to the movies yet since they've said Stage 3, I guess it is, so what if somebody sneaks in a little snack or something? I know
Just
that's not.
be discreet
I know that's
in
not
your
what you want to say.
indiscretion, and there you go.
Okay, all right. Because I need my Junior Mints. Just me.
understand.
Okay, it's me. I need my Junior Mints. I can deal without popcorn, but Junior Mints, that's my thing. Anyway, I like peanut M&Ms too. Actually, that's a pretty cool item too. What's your favorite? What's your best seller besides popcorn? Just curious.
After the popcorn, it probably is the Twizzlers.
Twizzlers, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That can get. Oh, yeah, you definitely have to have something to drink with that though. Get it's a little dry in your mouth. Okay, so when did you guys open up this summer?
We just opened last weekend. We were
Okay.
open for Labor Day weekend. And that was because Tenet opened. It's the first really good new movie to come to movie theaters.
All right.
So we wanted to be open for that.
And what were the numbers like?
They were not good, but it was also a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
Oh, yeah, it really was. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're limited to just 25 people per screen per showing.
Okay.
So the numbers are never going to be big, but it was a nice way to start because we have to figure out. We have to disinfect between each theater, between each show.
Each
so
screening.
to try to figure out how much time that's going to take, we have a number of different protocols that we have to follow to make sure that everyone's safe and stays so.
Now you have 2 theaters there, correct?
2 screens, yeah.
2 screens, yeah, that's what I meant. What's your normal capacity in those theaters?
One of them is 130, the other one is 202.
Wow.
So we have
you're
over
really 1/8 capacity on the 202.
Yeah.
So, and I know how theaters run these days. I mean, you get a lot more of your revenue from concessions, correct?
Yeah.
So you not being able to sell concessions, you're basically operating at a loss right now, aren't you? Or something close?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's fair.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Business-wise, would it have been better to just ride the storm, keep the hatches battened down, or do you think it's just for the community? You want to open up?
I think for the community and getting people used to the idea of coming back to the movies, letting people know that we're going to do everything in our power to make them safe when they're there. And there really nothing beats seeing something on a big screen.
I have no argument for me at all.
Yeah.
I love going to the theater. Of course, I'm old school, but I love going to seeing it on the big screen, the atmosphere, and the smell of the popcorn. It's because we grew up that way, right? I mean, we're a little older. A little bit older, not too much older. And we looked forward to the movies all the time. Even when you were younger, Mom and Dad, hey kids, we're going to the movies. You would be in that car faster than you could ever imagine. Because that's one of the things we loved, even as families. Drive-ins are back. That's one good thing that came out of this. I don't know how you feel about drive-ins, but I used to love drive-ins.
This year, the Chilmark Film Festival, the Martha's Vineyard Film Festival in Chilmark, and the YMCA collaborated on a drive-in that was behind the Y. And they were showing older movies 5 nights a week. And that was where everyone went. They had a phenomenal summer, and I am so happy for them because it was really a wonderful idea and really filled in the hole that we left when we had to close. So I was very, very happy for them.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that, that some people had some options on the island for entertainment. I think that's really important. Now, they are obviously going to have to shut that down for the fall winter season, and you're back up and running. So it's kind of like they handed the baton over to you.
Yep.
Okay, now you can keep things going. During the off season, normally, you run the theater all year, right? Don't you? Yeah.
Yep.
So during normally, what is it like? Maybe half capacity, during a standard week down there in the off season for you.
The off season, and that is definitely the fall, because at this point we would be done with our summer blockbusters, and they would just sort of be filling the slate in until the Thanksgiving big releases come out again. So it's usually a slow time of year anyway. And yes, it would be, weekends are always busy, but the weekdays definitely are, even less than half capacity.
Interesting. Now, I remember last year when we interviewed you there, Jaws was playing, and you told us that Jaws plays all the time in the summertime. What's Jaws run? Is it like from June to September? When do you usually have that run?
Usually June to September, and the drive-in did have it twice.
Oh, they did? Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah.
And I know that I think it was the Beach Road Weekend played it too last year.
Yeah, they did.
With the symphony. The live symphony playing the soundtrack, which I thought was very cool. I didn't make it that night. I really wanted to. We were there the next day, but I thought that was very, very cool. So Jaws is obviously a big part of the island lure, I suppose, right? I mean, that's the Jaws Bridge, the Jaws atmosphere, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, please let there be great whites in the water during the summer, because there's some people just want to see a shark in the water, especially if you're on Martha's Vineyard. That'd be so cool. And that's then what other
in the water.
Was that?
Didn't see the photos of the shark on the Cape?
Yes, I did. I did see that in 5 feet of water. That was interesting. But I was going to say, what I'm trying to say is that that's part of the island. It's part of the island lore. Part of the island legend is. You're going to do the other screen, Colin. You went to the dual screen there. It's like it looks like
that's see all of us.
I know, no,
Right?
no, don't worry. Yeah, but it doesn't look quite right. So don't worry about it. It's kind of hard to do it that way. We'll have to set up something new if we're going to do something like that. Actually, okay, you can do that here. Go ahead, do it now. We can't see all of us, but we can see the two of you. See, that's how that works. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
We're figuring it out as we go along.
Trying
Okay.
to participate here, but I feel ignored.
Okay. You feel like who?
You hurt my feelings, Mike. I feel
Oh,
ignored.
sorry. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Colin. No, it's a casual show. Come on, we know that. So I'll be invisible now. How's that? Okay, that's good. Nobody wants to see my ugly mug anyway. No, I'm not ugly.
Well, I had a couple questions. I was just I'm curious. I was talking to Anne before the show, and where is the industry going with how are they making shows? Are we destined to be watching repeats for the next couple of years?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's the case at all.
They ended up taking, for the movies anyway, a lot of the slate that they had for this summer got pushed back. Jungle Cruise, which was a Dwayne Johnson movie, has gone to next summer.
Yeah, that's 1 year delay.
Yeah. Some of the things went to streaming. But they just started production again on a Batman movie, and I think Robert Pattinson immediately came down with COVID, so that shut down.
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw. I was watching an interview on CNN with the CEO of Netflix, and he said that they've started to shoot in Canada somewhere where they can really control what's going on. I guess that's only going to last. I mean, I don't know how they control it, really. I guess unless it's only people that are pre-tested that are on site.
Interesting. Real quickly, if anybody wants to, hey, look at Donna. It says, Jaws fans come all the time. So if anybody wants to make a comment, please make the comment on Facebook Live, and we will answer the comment as quickly as possible, or YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube. So there's where you make your comments. As far as the blockbusters that Anne was referring to, a lot of them were pushed back to the fall, winter, spring schedules. But the first one, like you said, was Tenet, and then the other one, Mulan. The live-action Mulan, which Disney was putting out, that was pushed too, but then they decided to go all-digital release. How does that affect your situation, Anne, down there, when a big company and a big film like that decides just to go straight to digital?
It's never a good thing when they take it off the screen and they do it digital. So that's why we're
especially that one was a big live action film, which you would love to see on a big screen. I would anyway, right? So that was an interesting move by Disney. I don't know, the numbers aren't out yet, but and that's, of course, the price point was $30. Now, if you are taking a family and watching a movie, $30 isn't too bad. You know, by today's standards, that's probably the equivalent of what, maybe 2.5 tickets normally, give or take, or maybe 2 in the bigger city theater. But you know, it is an individual or something in a download situation, or a pay-per-view. I mean, that's a pretty hefty price to be paying for a movie. I mean, I want to see the movie, but I'm not about to pay $30 for it just for myself. Definitely not. I mean, I don't mind paying $10 or $15, but $30? Nah, I don't think so. What's your take on that?
I think that at some point it may actually see a theatrical release.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe.
Because it is meant to be seen on a big screen. They held out as long as they could and then, caved. But if things start to come back to normal, I would not be surprised to see that appear on the theater screen.
I mean, if this continues through next year, they also have the Jungle Book, like you were talking about. That's a Disney.
The Jungle Cruise.
The Jungle Cruise. That's what I meant. Jungle Cruise. Jungle Book is a completely different one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, folks, I'm not supposed to be here right now. I mean, I'm here, but I'm not supposed to be on the screen right now. So I wasn't exactly prepared for this, but that's okay. We'll get through it. So that was also, like you said, delayed for a year now, and it's got to release next year in 2021. But what if we're still in that situation? Do you think Disney would say, okay, we're just going to wait, or we're just going to release it for the limited capacity theaters? What do you think they might do? I guess it would depend on the success or lack of success for Mulan, right?
It does, but I think there are a lot of moving parts here because with production being shut down, when theaters do come back up, they're not going to have any product to go in if they're not producing it now. So they do want to hold off some things so that they'll have something to go on the screen when we finally get back to that point.
True, very true.
Seems like the industry has enough money. That's where the testing is if you have the money, you can buy the tests that are more effective and give you results within 15 minutes. So it seems like that would be effective if you were moving a movie crew to a secure area.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just knowing that they have COVID isn't going to. I mean, yes, they have to know that they have COVID, but it's catching COVID that's the problem, because that's what's causing these productions to shut down. These people aren't being smart, or they aren't being careful, whatever the case may be. Like Pattinson, and what they probably have to do is just like what the sports teams have done, or the basketball teams. They have to live in a bubble. They can't be outside partying. Once they get tested and they're clean, they can't be going out anywhere. The production is more important. Let's get this done. Let's get it over with so we don't have any issues. And they probably have to keep their footprint small too, meaning the crew has to be reduced and limited. The amount of extras have to be reduced and limited. All the support staff, et cetera, et cetera. They have to streamline in order to make sure that they can get these productions done. It's easier for a TV show than it is for a movie. Obviously, there's more people involved in movies than there are in most television shows. Not all, and so once they finally get a handle on this, and don't forget, LA, California, Hollywood, that's the most intense hotspot right now in the whole entire country. As a matter of fact, I think maybe the whole entire world. The California has the most infections each and every day. And most of those are in LA County. So they've had many obstacles to face, fires, all this other stuff. I swear to God, it does sound like end of days, doesn't it?
It is. It's almost biblical.
It's what I'm saying. It's almost biblical these days, especially those fires, man. That's pretty scary. So that's another thing too. So what's happening, from what I understand, I'll put myself back on the screen since I'm talking. From what I understand, a lot of these areas a lot of these productions are moving to other locations where it's a little better. Vancouver, I know that Boston has had a few good productions going on. Montreal, Toronto's another place that they have a lot of productions happening right now. And if it wasn't for those places, I don't think a lot of things would be getting produced at this moment in time. So hopefully Hollywood can get better and get back to normal pretty soon. No comments. Okay.
Well, I imagine that those areas are probably not too psyched to have large groups of people coming into them just because they don't have any real COVID activity there. They probably want to keep it that way.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think they're probably. I'll have to go to the screen. They're probably okay with people coming in as long as they're being tested and quarantined. So, like I said, if they have a big production crew, say going up to Vancouver, and they say, okay, you guys just stay with each other, keep away from everybody else, do your thing, and then leave. I don't think the locals have a problem with that. I mean, it brings in some more revenue for them, and it's probably good for the
badly needed revenue.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for the industry to keep these things going. It keeps the actors employed, keeps the union stage crew employed, and all the other.
Because I think everybody who's stuck at home has watched just about everything they're reading.
Yeah, there's only so many reality shows and game shows we can watch, right? Especially, I think we've been watching them for 6 months now. I think we're done. Okay, so let's talk about the theater itself. How long has the theater been in existence? How long has it been around? What kind of changes have it made over the years? Give us some history.
It's about 20 years old, and it sort of replaced the Town Hall Theater in Edgartown, which was across the street and above the Town Hall.
Which I remember.
Yeah, and then which I ran many years ago.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. This across the street has the two screens, and it's pretty much just your basic neighborhood theater with the concession stand that keeps it basic, with the popcorn, the candy, the drinks. We're open year round. We have matinees all summer long. It's your classic neighborhood theater.
That's excellent. And you are the general manager.
Yeah.
And I can't put the lower third down because Colin's got the double screen up. So you're the general manager, and how long have you been the general manager of the theater?
I have at this particular theater, I have been there for the last 4 years. I ran the other theaters on the island, the Capwalk, the Strand, the Island, and the Town Hall Theater through most of the 80s. And then when this theater opened, I worked there when it first opened, but then took time off to have my son and came back around. So,
Oh, your son must love you, because you get to get him go to the movies all the time, and he gets to probably see them like the very first showing, and gets to tell all his friends and everything else. How old is your son right now?
right now he's 23.
23, but still, growing up
Yeah.
to be able to watch all the movies before everyone else did, right when they first come out, that'd be pretty cool. He probably smelled like popcorn all the time too, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too. That's a good
Yeah.
smell. So let me ask you this: what is your favorite genre of movie?
Oh boy. I am a big fan of animation.
So Pixar, that kind of
Anything Pixar, absolutely love it. Big fan of sort of offbeat comedy. Just anything that's well written. So it's really hard to pick something because, when people ask me what my favorite movie is, I always end up just saying All About Eve from 1950 because it's one of the best scripts I've ever read in my life, and you can't change a word in it.
So you like the classics, huh?
Yeah.
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 Do you have like some classics that you like run every once in a while? Besides, I know a lot of theaters have done it the past few months because that was the only things that were coming out. Like Grease and things like that. I saw Grease, I don't know how many times in the theaters coming around here. Grease,
Yeah.
some of those, what I'm saying, those old standards that just everyone loved to go to anyway. Besides those, do you have normally during a normal year like one or two that you show besides Jaws too, I suppose? Anything like that?
We really don't because there's usually such a slate of movies available to us. So we don't have room for something like that. We have in the past, if we go for something that is island specific, we'll show something, possibly like Harold and Maude because Ruth Gordon and Garson Kanin both lived here. And, that used to always get an audience. And then years ago, at the Island Theater, we used to always bring back a lot of the old movies. Way back when we had a Woody Allen triple feature, but I don't see that happening again anytime soon.
No, I mean, Martha's Vineyard has a very sophisticated summer residence. Summer residence. What about art house films and things like that? Because I know that a lot more independent studios are releasing art house films in the summer because the kids can go see the blockbusters, but they want to have something for the adults or the more mature people to see. Do you run any of those art house films in the summertime or just all blockbusters?
We do try.
You do try?
Yeah. Yep. But there's the Chilmark Film Festival. They have a summer screening program, excuse me, not a problem.
Well, they have a problem this year, but
yeah. And they show a lot of the independent and documentary films.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean,
so they're available on the island. They're just not available through us.
Okay. Now, how many theaters are on the island? Indoor theaters.
There are. This summer the Capwalk and the Strand did not open at all. And then there is the Film Center in Vineyard Haven. They also show a lot of art films and foreign films. And then we have the 2 screens in Edgartown.
Okay, so that's how many screens altogether? 6, 7?
It's 5.
5. Okay, all right. So 5 screens, and you're all kind of spread. I've seen the one in Vineyard Haven, and the Strand is also in Oak Bluffs, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Oak Bluffs, Vineyard Haven, and you said there's the Chilmark Festival, but they don't have a theater. Is they have a theater, or is it just outdoors, or what's that?
They sort of do a pop-up theater.
A pop-up theater. Okay,
yeah.
all right. So and then if you go down towards Gay Head or anything, there's nothing down there, right? Or that you know of?
Chilmark is as far out as you're going to get.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's as far as. Okay, so if they want to get to, I see a nice blockbuster, they have to travel across the island to Edgartown Theater or maybe Strand and Oak Bluffs or something like that. Okay, gotcha. All right. So in the wintertime, in the off season, are you the only ones open year round, or is any of the others open year round?
We're the only commercial theater open. The Capwalk and the Strand close, and then the Film Center again. They're showing independent films, and they're open, I think, 5 nights a week during the winter.
Okay, 5 nights. And then I'm assuming some of those are weekend nights, right? Saturday. Again, you can Friday and Saturday. That's cool. So, Colin, when's the last time you went to the movies? I'm just curious.
It's been a while. Actually, I remember thinking the last movie I went to was the one.
Talk closer to your mic, Colin. We can't hear you that well because you're
Oh, sorry.
There we go. There, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So the one with Harrison Ford, what was the
Call of the Wild.
Yeah, Call of the Wild. It was and I knew that we were going to close everything down.
Yeah.
Like, let's go because this will be the last time we'll be able to go for a little while. And
actually, there's no reason
later.
why you shouldn't be going to the movies more often when it was normally there. Because literally, it's less than a block away for you, right, to walk there from your place.
Yeah, we go a lot when it's.
Yeah, trust me, he's there a lot.
Oh, he is. Okay, that's good. He's there for the popcorn. That's what it's for.
That's it. I mean,
He's also there for the Edgartown Diner. I know that for a fact too. Yes, right. Because the Edgartown Diner is right below the theater, so you can have a great meal at the Edgartown Diner and then go catch a matinee up at the theater in the summertime, which is pretty cool. And actually, the Edgartown Diner serves dinner too, right? Don't they? What time did they close?
No, they weren't. They stopped doing that this year.
Yeah, they stopped
this
doing
year.
it
I know,
this
but
year.
normal. And let's assume it's a normal year, okay? But what time do they close normally during the summer? They what?
No, I think this year they were closing at like 3 or something.
Yeah, I know that. This year, I'm saying normally.
Normally they close at 8.
That's what I'm saying, right? So you can have a nice dinner there and just literally walk up the stairs and have a great film to watch afterwards. We did go there last year after we finished filming one of our days on Martha's Vineyard for this week on MV, and we went there and we saw the Elton John movie last year. We didn't like it very much. Our whole crew went, and Brian was sleeping and snoring, so that was that's how good the movie was to us anyway. I don't know. I thought the Queen movie was better last year. If you're going to talk about musical docudramas, but that was just us. But it was a quaint theater. I love it. I
tired probably.
Say what?
I thought it was a good movie.
Say what?
Must have been tired.
Oh, what?
Tired and grumpy.
Brian sleeps anywhere. I'll tell you some Brian stories some other time. He's probably laughing right now if he's watching us. But yeah, it reminded me of an old theater that I used to go to when I was a kid in Hingham called the Loring Hall Theater. It's very much the same kind of old town hall kind of thing with the old seats and everything else like that. I love those theaters. It has a lot of charm. And you can think back to all those years in the past, all the people who used to sit in those theaters watching classic movies, like Gone with the Wind and things like that. And it's just like that to me. It's like a great nostalgic feeling. I don't mind the big AMC cushy seats either. But if I'm gonna watch an older, more sophisticated film, I like the old theaters. It just gives it a lot more.
All the classics.
It gives it more flavor, more.
Star Wars.
It's a better vibe. Yeah. What was that, Colin?
I just had every single one of the classics I remember seeing at the theater. Most of them were the old theater. But,
which was across the street, right?
Yeah, Star Wars and I was actually here when Jaws was being filmed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
They all go way back, huh?
Yeah, it shows you how old I am, right? But are you going to another commercial break?
We're going to go to another commercial break, and we'll come back. We'll wrap it up and see what the future holds for everyone. Okay? So we'll be right back.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Monday morning or Friday night. From barbecues to birthday parties and from rainy days to beach days, Tony's Market has what you need. Check out our daily deli specials and a huge selection of beer and wine.
Mikado Asian Bistro on Main Street in Vineyard Haven features a creative assembly of artistic sushi, Chinese, Japanese, Thai, and fusion food that pushes well beyond the standard fare. Serving lunch and dinner with daily specials and a full bar, Mikado has something for everyone, including kids. Mikado, a distinct place that will keep you coming back again and again.
The perfect place for family-friendly fun, Island Cove Adventures on State Road, Vineyard Haven is the island's only mini golf course. Play a round of golf, climb the rock wall, then grab lunch at our grill. And don't forget to try some homemade ice cream.
Nothing says summer like Santoro Hospitality Group's restaurant on Martha's Vineyard. And Oak Bluff's Fishbones Bar and Grill overlooks the harbor where you can enjoy a delicious Caribbean-infused meal. The Ocean View Restaurant and Tavern is a local favorite with great food, friendly service, and is open year-round. The Lookout Tavern offers diners unrivaled ocean views with creative cuisine including sushi, sliders, fish tacos, barbecue ribs, and more. When you're looking for the freshest catch of the day, visit the Net Result on Beach Road in Vineyard Haven. Shop at their seafood market or grab a bite to eat at the takeout window.
Oh, those restaurants sound good right now. Oh, sounds really good. All right, we got a comment here. After a theater gets the right to play a movie, after a certain amount of time, do they have to re-up on that? I'm assuming that means, do they have to, let's say you had a run of a feature film and then you want to play it again, do you have to go through some kind of process, or how does that all work?
Well, there's a booking process, yes. And when we get a film now, with it being digital, the content arrives on something that actually looks like a video cassette. It's that exact size. And then the film company, we will book it for, let's say, 2 weeks. The film company will give us a key, which is a code that we put in the projector, and it unlocks the content for that 2 weeks. And when the key expires, you can no longer show the movie.
Interesting. Oh, that's how they keep, it's like digital rights management.
Yes.
That's what they call it. I mean, if you did it online, it'd be the same thing. You have to get a key to unlock a digital key. Well, that's interesting. And if you wanted to, say, for instance, show a classic, what's the process for you to do something like that? Do you have to contact a distributor? Or do you contact the theater, the studio? How does that work?
You go to the distributor, and you have to pay for the public performance rights for it.
Okay.
So that's what they were doing at the drive-in.
That's what I was going to say. So that's what the drive-ins were doing this past summer.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why Grease and what was the other one? Saturday Night Fever, and they would just keep repeating. Was the rate lower for Grease and Saturday Night Fever? Yes, it was. Okay, so that was the reason for that. So they could make a little bit more of a profit margin of playing these other movies. I think Jaws was out there a couple times too, and a few other blockbusters. I saw Back to the Future, something like that. Those good summer movies, I suppose. But
the way that it was originally set up, back in the days of E.T., as a matter of fact, we had an extended run of that movie because the very first week we split take with Universal, I believe it was. And for the first week, they get 90% of the box office gross. We got 10%. The longer you play it, it switches. So at one point you get to 50-50, and then the theater starts making the majority of the money. So by the 27 weeks, when I wanted to boot E.T. into outer space myself, we were making 90% of the box office, and the film company was getting 10.
Wow.
That's the way it used to be structured.
So I was going to say, because now you have releases every week, so you have to, if you want to keep your theater crowd coming back in and buying concessions, you have to turn around everything very quickly. Yeah. So that no longer exists. That price structure no longer exists for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can imagine a movie in this age running 27 weeks. That's half a year.
We had people coming week 27. It played from
it's E.T.
the beginning of June, and we didn't get rid of it until Halloween.
Wow, that's
granted,
cool.
it was only playing once a week or whatever at that point.
That's fine, but you're still making 90% of the revenue, which is unheard of now. Well, as a matter of fact, it's almost the opposite, isn't it, right now?
Twice the second time, because it's been so long that I wanted to see it again.
What, E.T.?
No, not the E.T. specifically, but I remember the days when movies were on for that long, and you'd go to it once, and then 3 months later you'd be like, okay, I'm ready to go see this again.
Well, I think some movies have to have teeth. I mean, if you remember Star Wars and others like that, there were some people that watched it right away, but then that word of mouth, that buzz, that's what creates movies like that. Hey, did you see this? I saw this. It was amazing. So back then, when it was running 4, 5, 6 weeks minimum, people would be able to say, hey, go check this movie out, and it would extend the run. But now you get, it's 2-3 weeks tops in most cases, right? And then it's almost within 2 or 3 months to digital, pretty much, right? It's either
I would say that this past year, the DVD, but we had, I think, Knives Out for 11 weeks, and we had an audience for all 11 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a pretty sophisticated film, which I loved. It was sophisticated comedy. You have to really pay attention, which I love those whodunits. And had a great cast. That was another good draw for that. And I think people, again, that was one of those, you probably looked at the trailer and said, yeah, we'll be here today, gone tomorrow. But then people saw it, saw how good it was, told their friends, said, go check it out. And it just kept the ball rolling for that, which is great. In this day and age, that's very difficult to do. And now I think it's on Prime, or is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Prime. It's on Prime right now. So anybody go check out Knives Out if you haven't seen it. That's definitely good. That's a good one for a quarantine period. So what's in the pipeline right now for fall releases, winter releases? What's coming up?
Well, everything just got shifted back again. Wonder Woman was supposed to come out on October 2nd. They pushed that back to closer to Thanksgiving. The big ones that are supposed to come out are Dune. The James Bond, which was supposed to come out in April, is supposed to come out at Thanksgiving. The Wonder Woman. Pixar has a movie, Soul, that I'm concerned that they may end up streaming that rather than keep it for theaters, but I don't know.
I think that might be depending on the success of Mulan right now. So the jury's probably still out in that particular situation. Anything else we got coming up?
Those, they're taking it one step at a time, and they really, what's going to change the whole dynamic of the releasing things is when the theaters in New York and LA are finally allowed to reopen. Because that's why the film companies don't want to take a big chance right now, because their two biggest markets aren't available.
Interesting. What about foreign markets now? Because Mulan was going to be obviously playing in Chinese theaters because of the I don't know if they're open over there or not, but I would think that might have been one of the reasons why they wanted to get Mulan released so they could put it out in the Chinese the market and to get the revenue from that market as well. I don't know about the European markets either. What's do you know the world situation?
I believe that China is open because Tenet did some business there this past weekend. I haven't heard how Mulan is doing. I guess it's not in the theaters in China if they're streaming it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. And what about the European markets? What's going on over there?
I'm not really 100% sure which ones are open and which aren't.
It'll be interesting to find out because I really haven't looked into any of that stuff.
That the restaurants are open, and if you're careful in a movie theater, I don't really see what the big difference is between them. But
but they won't allow me.
They're just taking it slow.
They won't allow me to eat Junior Mints, so I don't know. Until I can eat my
it's
Junior
just
Mints.
wrong in so many ways.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, man, I can't have a movie without Junior Mints. That's all right. It's part of the experience, to have a little bit of something to munch on while you're looking at a good flick.
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
Stuff in now that you
I have not found contraband on the floors when I've been cleaning up in between.
We have to call it contraband.
So they may be, but like I said, at least they're being discreet about it. So.
Yeah, they eat the evidence pretty much. Yeah. Hey, Anne, thank you so much for coming down tonight and spending some time with us. I learned a few things, so I do appreciate it. It's like movie theater management 101, and that's cool. I love the theater. It's so quaint. When people are on the island and they want to go have a nice little evening out, please think about the Edgartown Theater. Go visit it and just live a little nostalgia. While you're on the island and enjoy the charm of the island. You won't get that in a big theater in the city. There's no hustle and bustle. No one's trying to race to get to the ticket kiosk or anything. You still have a standard ticket window, and that's pretty cool. And when you go upstairs, you can smell that real fresh baked butter popcorn during non-COVID times, because the first thing that hits you when you go in that theater is the smell of that popcorn. It's fantastic. You got the old-fashioned butter popcorn maker, which a popcorn maker, which they don't have anymore. They do it off-site in most cases, right? Yeah. Who wants that cardboard crap? We want the fresh stuff, right, Colin?
That's right.
That's right. Okay, so yes. Go to the Edgartown Theater when you're down on the island. If you're not planning on going there this fall, please plan on going there next summer. It's a great experience, and just the island is fantastic to begin with. Okay, so that's a person that doesn't live on the island, doesn't go to the island that often, but when he goes, he has a good time and enjoys it. All right, Colin, anything else to add for this week?
No, I think just a little plug about what we're doing next week, which will be about the drive-in, the Yarmouth Drive-In. We're heading over there tomorrow to
take
check
a look
that
at
out.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, take a
The
look
weather
at it.
looks like it's going to be pretty good tomorrow too. It's tomorrow evening. It's going to be a little chilly, but we'll make it through. Okay, so I guess that's it till next week, and hopefully Emmalyn will be back next week because I don't like being thrown in the hot seat too quickly. This has been a week for the ages for me, but that's okay. We'll end it on a good note. So next week, hopefully Emmalyn will be back. We'll be talking about the Yarmouth Drive-In and Adam Epstein. He'll be part of the show next week. So
That's right.
Adam also is the manager or creator of Beach Road Weekend, which we couldn't have this year, but it was great success last year, and hope to bring it back the following year, next year in 2021, hopefully. All right, that's it. Anything else? Anyone before we close?
We're good.
Go to the
Thanks,
movies. Go to the movies. All right. All right. Good night, everyone. See you next week on This Week on Martha's Vineyard.